Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at this front and rear drilled and slotted 5-lug brake rotor pad, brake fluid, and cleaner kit fitting 2006 to 2018 Ram 1500s, excluding SRT10 and Mega Cab models. Now, driving fast can be fun, but stopping fast is even more important. Now, if your Ram is in need of new brakes, why not upgrade while you're at it? This is a full kit that is going to give you everything you need to refresh and improve your Ram's braking prowess. It gives you more stopping power and peace of mind for a really great price. Brakes are one of the places on a vehicle where I personally believe it's worth spending the extra time and money to really get the good stuff. Whether you're hauling a lot, towing, commuting, or just driving around town with your family, it's important that your truck be able to stop quickly and safely. Now, this kit has a handful of different components that make sure that's exactly what happens. First up, you have a set of drilled and slotted rotors. And as opposed to the solid rotors your truck got from the factory, these are going to perform much better. The slots here are going to help dissipate heat and debris like water from the faces of the rotors for enhanced stopping power, so that when you push down on the pedal, the pads are going to grab and they're going to immediately create friction and get to stopping the truck. Now, heat is really the enemy of brakes, as always, and being able to get that heat off the faces of the rotors and away from the pads means that you will get more initial bite and greater stopping power. Now, the drilled holes on the faces of the rotors accomplish a similar task by venting that heat out through the central vanes here, and again, keeping it away from the pads and the rotors. Now, the pads in this kit are premium ceramic units as well, meaning that this compound is going to pair well with the rotors to provide you smooth, consistent stopping power without the dust and noise that you can often experience with metallic or even semi-metallic pads. The kit also comes with new hardware and lubricant included, but more importantly, it also comes with brake cleaner to get your new stuff and your calipers all clean and ready to rock. Plus, there's a whole new thing of brake fluid included in the kit. Now, this specifically I do want to talk about. This is synthetic DOT3 brake fluid that's rated up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So even if your brakes do get hot, new fluid will be able to keep up and help slow you down safely. And this stuff is going to take a beating. And if you've ever boiled brake fluid before, you know how scary of an experience that can be. When the pedal just goes soft like that, it's not a fun time. Anyway, I digress. But it is important to do this though, because when people do a brake job, fluid is often something that is missed or something that we don't think about until, well, it's too late. So it's great to see it included here with everything, so you've got everything you need to get things slowed down properly. Now, the rotors are made from cast iron, sort of the industry standard, but these are zinc dichromate coated to protect against rust and corrosion. So that means that the barrels here and the faces of these are not going to rust onto your wheel hubs. It also means they're going to stop well and they're going to look good for a long time to come. Now, like we discussed earlier, the pads are again a ceramic compound, which provides a great balance between stopping power and longevity. Plus, we can't forget about the uprated DOT3 fluid too. So this is overall a really solid kit, even for a truck that just sees daily driver duty. And you might expect this to cost a pretty penny, but pricing for this kit comes in at about $425, which, considering all that you get here and the upgraded stopping power this is going to provide, I'd say this is well worth the cost. Now, of course, you could spend more money, but if you're shopping for a daily driven truck that occasionally sees some more intense usage, this is going to fit the bill nicely and give you plenty of stopping power to get your truck down from a higher speed, nice and safe. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the whole job should take you around 3 hours to complete. Now, swapping pads and rotors is pretty straightforward. It's definitely something you can accomplish at home or in your driveway. But it is worth noting that you will need to bleed your brakes if you replace the fluid in the system, which is part of the reason for getting this kit. Now, that is going to take some additional time, and you're going to need either a brake bleeder tool or a friend to help you get that job done. However, this is all designed to fit on your Ram without any modifications, so you can rest assured that everything will go on properly. With that though, let's head over to the shop and we'll walk you through the process.
For this install, you need a pry bar, a hammer, half-inch ratchet, 21mm socket, caliper hanger tool, a 13 and 10mm ratcheting wrench, flathead screwdriver, brake grease, and a front and rear caliper tool. All right, today we're installing some brakes on our Ram, so let's get started. All right, now first thing we need to do is we need to get the front caliper off, so we're gonna grab our 13mm ratcheting wrench and take our 2 bolts that are holding on our caliper, and then we can hang it up on our caliper hanging tool. All right, you just rock the caliper back and forth And it should come out. If not, you can grab either a flathead screwdriver or a pry bar. Just give it a little wiggle on either side. All right, and once we have our caliper hung up, we can take our old pads off. All right, and now we can take our caliper bracket off, which is gonna be two 21mm bolts on the back side. All right, we're gonna grab our ratchet and 21mm socket and take these two bolts off. All right, once our bracket's off, we can take our rotor off also. All right, now you just repeat all those same steps for the other side. All right, so now at the rear, what we need to do is we need to take our caliper off. So we have the two 10mm bolts on the back side holding it on. So we're gonna grab our 10mm ratcheting wrench and take them off. All right, now we can pull our caliper off. All right, now that we have it off, we use our caliper hanger tool, just hang it up on the spring here. And then we could take our two bolts off for our bracket and our two pads off. All right, to get a little stuck, use your flathead screwdriver or pry bar. All right, then we'll grab our ratchet with our 21mm socket and take our two bolts off for our bracket. All right, and then we just need to get our rotor off. All right, now we see to get our rotor off. As you can see, it's a little stuck on there, so we're just gonna grab a hammer and just smack on the back of the rotor where the caliper was. Have a lug nut on here just so it doesn't go flying off. Just give it a little spin so you can hit in a different spot. All right, and then we can pull our rotor off. All right, now you just repeat the same thing on the other side. All right, what we're gonna do while we have our bracket off is we're gonna swap over our clips that go on for our pads. So we just need to take our old ones off and put our new ones back on. All right, so we're just gonna take our old clip and just push it off. Take our new one, just slide it over. Same thing for the other one. All right, now before we put on our rear rotor, we just need to use our supplied brake clean and clean off a surface of our rotor of any oil or debris. So we're going to take our brake clean and spray it over the surface. Use our rag to clean it off. Do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we're ready to put the rotor onto the truck. All right, you will see the angle of these slots. They are going forward, so you just want to make sure that you have the right rotor. So we can put this on our hub. Then we could put our bracket on now. All right, we're gonna put our bracket back on. Thread in our two 21mm bolts that we took out. All right, we can grab our ratchet and tighten them down. All right, now we're just gonna get our new brake pads and we're just gonna grease where they're gonna slide on our bracket here. So right in here. Same thing on the other side. All right, and then we can put our outside pad on. All right, you will see it is a little bit tight on these clips, so if you need to, Just get a screwdriver, just get in there, spray it apart so that you can slide the pad in. Then we can put our inside pad in. All right, it definitely is a little tight there, so what you want to do is you want to get the inside edge on first and kind of rotate it on in there. Once they're in there, same thing here. Spread that groove open. Let the pad get in there. All right, now we're going to take our rear caliper tool and we're going to put it in our caliper here and compress our piston. And we can put our caliper over our pads. All right, now we're gonna put our caliper over our pads. You may need to, right here, push on the sliders, push them in just so they get over the lip here. And then we can reinstall our two 10mm bolts. Grab our 10mm ratcheting wrench and tighten them down. All right, now you just repeat all those same steps for the other side. All right, now before we get our new rotor installed, what we need to do is take our supplied brake clean and just clean up the surface of the rotor to clean off any oil or debris that might be on there. All right, now we're gonna take our brake clean, spray it over the surface of our rotor, and take our rag and clean it off. Do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we're ready to install it onto the truck. All right, now we're gonna put our front rotors on. Just make sure, once again, you have the directions on the right side. So we're gonna have our rotor over our hub. And then we can put on our bracket. All right, now before we put our bracket on, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grease where our pads go, because our pads do have clips attached to them. So we're gonna grease right in these grooves down here and on the other side. And then we can put our bracket on. All right, we're gonna get our 21mm bolts that we took off, thread them in. We can grab our ratchet and tighten them down. All right, we're gonna put our clips onto our pads. You'll see how they go like this. This tab on the back side. All right, and that tab does act as a spring. You will see how it catches there. All right, then we can take our caliper and we just need to compress our pistons. So we're gonna take our front caliper tool, slide it in like so, and compress our pistons. And then slide our caliper over our brake pads. Grab our two 13mm bolts that we took out, thread them in. Grab our 13mm ratcheting wrench and tighten them down. All right, now you just repeat those same steps for the other side. And once you've done all the brakes, you're just gonna wanna make sure that you pump up the brake pedal so that you have pressure so you don't cause any damage. All right, now once you have all the brakes installed, what you're gonna wanna do is pump up the brake pedal to build up pressure. And if you need to, there is supplied brake fluid to top off the reservoir if needed. All right, and that wraps up our install of our drilled and slotted 5-lug brake rotor, pad, brake fluid, and cleaner kit for the front and rear of our 2006 to 2018 Ram 1500, excluding the SRT10 and Mega Cab. And remember, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.